Hi,
everybody.
everybody.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Knit Chat. My name is Noelle, and this is
Kelly.
And we're coming to you from a rainy southwestern Ontario.
And cold.
And cold.
It's 10 degrees.
We still have sweaters on.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
But you know what? Yeah, I like my sweaters, but I'm ready for at least to be a little bit nicer so we could at least sit outside.
Well, you're working on a summer sweater, so there you go.
I am working on a summer sweater, but
okay,
you never know.
So we've got lots of people in here already.
We do have lots of people in here. So welcome, everybody. This is our Tuesday Night Knit Chat, where we just kind of talk about anything that you might talk about with your friends when you go out for your, I don't know, your little knit night that we used to be able to go to. Well, we didn't do it at night. We used to go in the morning.
In the mornings.
We used to go to coffee shops in the morning. But this is so much better because so many more people can come. We wish that it could be in person, but everybody lives in different geographical areas, and this way we can all come together.
And the best thing is you can enjoy a glass of wine in here, and you don't have to worry about the drive home.
You don't have to drive anywhere. That's right. So we'll say a quick hello to everybody. We've got Wendy here. She was the first one in here, and there was some nice chat going in there before we were even on here. So hi, Wendy and Janie and Elaine's here. And we've got Trudy and Scylla, Mary, Maureen, Kristen. I think we have Miles.
I think Miles is in the room. He's in the green room right now.
Teresa. And we've got Emma and Donna and Karen and Rebecca and Heather, Luana, Leah, Nicole, Denise. We've got Cronova from the Netherlands. We've got Sue and Tina and Jan and Deborah, Judy, Elizabeth, Yvonne, another Elaine. We've got Bobby, Julia. We've got Joan, Dorothy. Wow, there's a lot of people in here tonight. That's awesome. So I think Miles wants to talk to everybody. We've got Marianne and Janet and Marg and Wendy, Sarah, Pat, Deborah. So hello, everybody. If I've missed your name, I apologize. It just gets harder to go through this list because there's so many people chatting before we get here, which is awesome.
Awesome.
So anyway, so I'm sure you heard a little voice in the background. Is he coming to say hi now?
Well, yes, he is. And his little voice is not so little anymore. No. He actually has found his voice. In fact, what he has found is a really high-pitched squeal, and he loves it. He thinks it's the most fun ever. But yeah, I think Miles is ready to pop in. He's all finished hair and makeup. Mom brought him down and he still had a little potato on his cheek, so we had to go back to hair and makeup for a buff. You want to come in and say hi, Miles?
My son and daughter-in-law stopped over for a bit, and I had washed my hair and I hadn't done anything with it and no makeup on, and I'm like, sorry, guys, but I have to go get ready for knit chat. Hi, Miles.
He's growing a little bit since everybody saw him last time. Hi, can you say hello? Oh, you want to look at the keyboard? Look up here at the pictures. Hey.
He says, all I see is one lady.
He's got his foot stuck there on the table. There you go. He's just not as easy to position anymore. He wants to do his own thing.
No,
he likes
and the
to
hands.
Stand.
And the hands are always going, and what can I grab? And
he's not crawling yet, but he is full up, hands and knees, and then he just rocks front and back. But he can get anywhere he wants to go on his tummy. He uses his arms, and he pulls himself all over a room. Is this your bunny? You want to hold the bunny?
Yeah, and that's his new little outfit.
This is his new little outfit. It fits him perfectly, so he wanted to come on and show it off. He looks like a pudgy boy on here, but he's...
So how old is he now, Kelly?
He is 6.5 months old now. Okay. And you're quiet. You're not saying anything. You had so much to say before. And he's busy. His feet never stop. He just wants to go. And he's sitting up at the table. Noelle lent us a high chair. So he's been sitting up enjoying some snacks. You can't kick the table, dude. So anyway, he's good. We're happy to have him here. He slept 12 hours last night, so I think he recovered from the 3-hour time shift. And yeah, so hey, you're gonna have a good week, right?
Yeah.
Look at at all the double chins. You're not your cutest right now. I've seen you cuter.
What
are you doing?
Yes. What do you see? You need Mom to be dancing on the back of the screen. Get Mom to entertain you. No? Okay. So it's been a couple of hours since his last nap. So he has a window of time usually. And he's
Yes, so do I.
That should make anybody laugh. Yeah, that should. What is she doing? Mom is dancing around the studio. I would laugh at that.
There you go. Nikki says that the camera puts 10 pounds, and 10 pounds on a little guy is a lot.
Oh, there. That's
go.
the answer then. Okay. All right. So maybe he'll sit here for a minute and we can catch up. You wanted to catch up on some comments.
Okay. So
from last week.
Well, is the picture in here? Can I show the picture of the last week? We were actually in baby mode, but it was
were in baby mode. Yes.
So,
and Heather's dog was in labor last week and we were anxiously awaiting little Jack Russell pups. So there we go. Go this way, Miles. We've got pups and Trixie is Mom and she looks pretty happy. She looks a little tired. I think taking care of 3 babies might be wearing her out a bit.
But look, they even arrange themselves so that they're color coordinated.
I know.
The two little like colored ones on the outside. And,
so cute. And quit kicking my table.
So hopefully everybody's doing well. And she did say that one of them, I don't know if we heard any names, did we?
She didn't tell me names yet. Maybe I'm pretty sure she's in here. Maybe she will join in and let us know what she's chosen to name them. I know that Pearl was in the running, she said last week.
Yes,
and
we heard that Pearl was in the running.
So I don't know what is Mom doing now? I don't know if Trixie is a first-time mom or not, or if she's had other children, but they're super cute. So thank you, Heather, for letting us share that picture.
I know I would love to have another puppy, but to get them right from the puppy stage, they are so much work.
They are a lot of work, but they're so cute.
I know. But okay, so that was one thing from last week. And the other thing was that we had a viewer that asked us if we could show, because she's been knitting socks and she wants to enter them into the Ravelry group, but she didn't know how to get them in there. So I'm going to quickly go through. I'm going to bring up my Ravelry account. I'm going to quickly go through how to make a project and how to get that project picture into the Ravelry group. Okay. So I'm just going to share the screen here. Okay. I think. There you go. Okay. So I'm just going to do this quickly on my Ravelry group. So I've just got my main page up. So if you kind of go over to your little icon, so you can go in, and I'm going to go into my notebook and I'm going to go into projects. Okay. So here's all the projects that I've got in there. Now, if I want to add a project, I'm just going to go add a project and it's going to bring up a screen for me to enter some information. So I'm going to name my project. So I'm just going to put sock. Okay. And then you can enter a pattern name. So let's say the pattern name was Curio Socks. I'm just going to type Curio. I'm going to do continue and it's going to bring up some ideas for me. So the first one that comes up here is the Curio Socks by Andrea Mowry. So I'm going to say choose this pattern and then it's going to bring me to a page that I can enter information about my socks. So if you just look here, you can enter the needle size, you can enter the yarn you want to use, you can put project notes down at the bottom, but so that you have pictures that you can put into our Ravelry group, if you just go up here and click add photos, it'll bring up this screen. You can go over here now. It's a good idea, whatever device you're on, whether it be your computer or your iPhone or your iPad, that you've got those pictures already in your picture file on that device. So I'm going to do choose files. And you can see here, I've got pictures selected. So I've already got pictures selected. Okay, so this is just my difference. So here, I'll pull up our Antigua pictures from 2012. This obviously you would pull up whatever, wherever you've got your socks. Okay, so I just picked this picture. I'm going to double click it. So I've got it ready now. You can see that the picture's in here. I could actually do more than one picture if I wanted to. So I'm going to go upload now. It takes a couple of seconds, but it's going to bring that picture into my project page. So now when I go into my project page, that picture's in there. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to save changes. Okay, now we're going to pretend that that's a sock picture. And we're going to go in and we're going to go into the Knits and Pieces Ravelry group. And we're going to add that picture. So if you're already in the group, if you go up to community, you can go into groups and it'll show you all the groups that you're in. So I'm just going to pick ours. So that's Knits and Pieces, right? So then I'm going to scroll down and I can see all the threads here. So we've got our 2022 year-long sock along FOs. We've got Smash That Stash. We've got sock along chatter. So I'm just going to enter this in the chatter because it's not an FO. I'm just going to enter it in the chatter just to show you how to put a picture in. So I'm going to go into the year-long chatter. Okay. So you can see there's already a lot of things in here. So I'm just going to go to the top of the page and over here where it says reply to thread, I'm going to hit that and it brings up a box for me. I can type what I want. So let's say I'm just going to put test picture. Okay. And then these boxes at the top, this little one here that looks like a photo, I'm going to press that. And it says it's giving me options here. So it says use an image from the web. But if you just scroll down a little, it says use a project or stash photo. So I'm going to say use a project or stash photo. And it's going to go into my, here I can choose the difference if I want to see everything that I've got in there, which would mean if I added to my stash or I added to my hand spun or I added to my projects. So you can actually open it and choose. I just want to look at pictures that I've got in projects. So I'm going to choose this picture. Okay, it'll bring up the picture. You can say, use this photo. So when you do that, it kind of brings up all the, computer jargon that brings that picture into your post. You can look at it before you post it. So I can hit preview here and it'll kind of show me what the preview looks like. Okay, so you can see my pictures there. Over here, it says test picture. I can click anywhere to close that. And then I'm going to put post reply. And it brings that right in there. So that's all that you have to do in order to put a photo of your finished object into the finished object thread. So that'll be there now. So if anybody needs to go back and look at it, they could go back and look at it. So I'm going to go back now, take the stream out, and make us big again.
Wow, you did a great job.
So that was just a quick tutorial because I know sometimes people have trouble with that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Julia, my hair was short. That was 12 years ago. 2012. That was in 2012. Oh, Zoe says hi, Miles.
Oh, Zoe's saying hi. Can you say hi, Zoe? What's this? Maybe you're reaching your limit. Is Mom not funny anymore behind the screen? If you could see the shenanigans, if I could turn the camera around, that would actually be funnier to watch. Yeah.
Okay, so then there was one last thing from last week.
Oh, wait. I want to go back and report on the puppies.
Okay.
I just lost the comment. Trixie and the puppies are all doing well, Heather says, and she has had other litters. The little girl they are keeping, and her name is Scarlet. The two boys are not yet named. Their new families are coming up with the names. And also, Jess had a tornado that went by her house last week. She says, oh, careful, Miles. She says, everyone is okay, but my goodness, that's scary. So she said that's why she missed KnitChat last week.
You ready to see?
So hopefully everything's okay. I know it's kind of getting into that season.
All right, Mr. Miles, you're rubbing your face. Are you ready to say goodnight? You say goodbye until next visit? Yeah. Is it bedtime? Tub time? You say goodbye? Okay, he's done. He's done. He's out of here. He says, I'm out of here.
Okay, bye, Miles.
Bye, Miles. Bye, buddy. Oh, and now you laugh. You're a little monkey. Mwah. Bye. Okay.
Okay, now Karen is asking, do you still have to pay to add pictures in groups? I only ever add pictures from my project pages, so I don't know. Like
I think I did pay, but I think you only pay one time. I've never paid again, and I've never been asked to. So
like I've never been asked to pay, period, if I'm just putting them in from my projects on Ravelry. So okay, so we had one other thing from last week. So we had a viewer that watched the day after, and it was Nick. and she was watching from work. I hope it's okay if I say that. So she had to, so she had to pause it. So anyways, when she paused it, this is where the pause ended up. It looks like I'm going to take a bite out of my sock. So she had to send it to me. So this just looks like I'm on a yarn diet.
Yeah, Ross has had enough of the yarn buying, and he said, that's it. You're on a yarn diet. You're cut off. So she's resorted to eating her socks now.
Or we could say I'm on a high fiber diet.
High fiber diet. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, so that was kind of nice to see that. It did kind of look that. So maybe I won't bring my things quite that close to my face. Anyway, the sock, no socks were harmed in the making of that, that photo.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
So, yeah, high fiber diet. Yeah, and Nikki says if you put photos from your projects, you don't have to pay.
Right.
Okay. So, and Pamela said it, you have to pay if you upload from your iPhone. But if you put it into a project first on Ravelry, then you don't.
Right. Right.
So,
okay.
Anyway.
Well, that was good. That was helpful. Hopefully that answered all the questions. If you have more, we can go back in another time.
Yep. But it's, yeah, so it's kind of nice to share the screen like that and be able to show you, because it's hard to write it out to explain it.
Yes.
Like it's easier to kind of show you what to do. So Anyway, okay. I noticed there was a comment from Marg here, because she was and I'll maybe show that first before we go into because we are going to talk about Shortie socks.
I wear short socks. You wear short socks.
We all wear
short socks.
I got to shave my legs if I'm going to wear short socks. Get rid of that winter growth.
Time to cut down the forest.
That's right. Anyway, so I'm just going to show you. Last week we talked about the floodlight tee.
Yes.
So the floodlight tee was a new pattern that just came out. Actually, I think last week when I was talking about it, it hadn't even been released yet.
It was coming out, I think, the next day.
Coming out the next day or something. So here's the floodlight tee. So it's by Tanis Lavalley. And this past weekend was local yarn store day.
It was.
So we went to Little Red Mitten, and Zoe and I went and we met Kelly there. But I had actually stopped in on my way in to Jacqueline's on Friday night, and I picked up some Leo and Roxy yarn. So they had a new base that they just introduced for their 4th anniversary or birthday, and it was a linen silk blend. And consequently, or not consequently, but ironically, that's the exact mix of yarn that was called for in the, what's the tee again? Floodlight tee.
Floodlight tee.
So I decided I needed to cast it on. So here's where I am. So this is the Leo and Roxy linen silk, which is a 65% silk, 35% linen. And it is mixed, well, there's stripes, just so you can just kind of see the texture in the stripes with their silk mohair. And this color is called Morning Glory. And it feels unbelievable. It's just,
it feels pretty unbelievable in the color parchment too.
Yeah, yes.
Not gonna lie. Mine's not a sweater yet, but it's so,
anyway, yeah,
so soft.
It's and I really like the color, but I know that she's all, they didn't have any more of this. This was called Morning Glory. They didn't have any more of this color.
And I think maybe you can see it on this color a little bit better because yours is mixed in with the mohair, but when you get down to the body, it has a really beautiful sheen to it.
Yep.
So
yeah, because mine's rolled up here. I don't know if the sheen will come through on that.
It's so, so pretty.
And so this tee it just takes, I've used pretty much all the mohair. I think the I-cord around the edge might be mohair, but I'm at the point now where I just continue with this. I have used 9 grams of mohair so far. So it's going to be a really lightweight tee. And the linen silk has 490 yards.
Lynn wants to know if it feels like butter.
No. It feels...
I will admit, even I admit this one does not feel like butter, but it does feel beautiful and soft, and I cannot wait.
So, yes. So anyway, so Marg had wanted to see that because I think she got the yarn to do it too. And I think several other people bought some of that linen yarn while we were there.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a few. Yeah.
But anyway, very nice yarn. So.
Okay. Julia was talking about how you can change the playback speed. So when Noelle was doing the tutorial, if that was a little too fast for you, you can slow it down a little bit by tapping on the 3 dots in the top right corner. And then Emily responded and she said some podcasts she actually listens to on the 1.25 speed. Some people talk too slow. She goes, not Kelly and Noelle, but some people.
When I get excited about knitting, I just talk faster.
We have been accused of talking a little too fast. And even when I was a young girl, when you used to do reading out loud in your classroom, I remember my teacher would always say, Kelly, read a little slower. So if we ever get going too quickly, you will not insult us if you type that we need to slow down.
Well, when I taught at the college, I had a lot of international students who English was not their first language. So they'd always be going, slow down.
Yes, yes, so, just a little slower.
But this accounting is so exciting. How can I not speed
up? Oh, goodness. Okay. Lisa's doing something fun. She's making chocolate chip cookies. That sounds delightful.
It does. It sounds
We
good.
had a big dinner tonight. We went full out comfort food today. I made fresh linguine with a creamy sauce, a Parmesan cream sauce on top with garlic shrimp in it and spinach and mushrooms. It's very garlicky. It's a good thing we are all in the same house and it's a good thing you can't smell what we had going on, but okay. And yes, Bee Making Joy says, as a maritimer, she talks fast. So I did grow up in the East Coast. I grew up in Nova Scotia. And another thing that I've noticed when I look back at this, it's best that I do keep something in my hands knitting, because otherwise my hands are flying around the screen.
I know.
And there was a saying, sit on your hands so you can stop talking, or I'm going to tie your hands behind your back so you don't talk anymore. But that is just there it goes again. Okay. And then when you say it, and then when you say it, you really can't stop, because then it's even more apparent. But that's just something I've always done. So feel free. You can always jump in and let us know we need to slow down or stop flailing my hands around.
What if I press the 3 dots?
Yeah. Can we press the 3 dots and slow ourselves down? Yeah. Okay.
So what did you work on this week?
I was busy picking a baby up at the airport. What did I work on? I'm trying to think, okay. Well, one of the things that we worked on is we actually recorded another episode for the podcast on Sunday. Yes. Because Saturday was the knit shop. And so we recorded that. I'm still in the process of editing. Miles has slowed me down a little bit. Ordinarily, I would have that up the next day, but I'm hoping to have it up Thursday morning. So you can watch for an episode there. And spoiler alert, we have a lot of prizes to give away. And it's a longer episode. And we don't know how it ended up so long, because we thought we were just like ticking along at our same sort of pace.
No, but we had a lot of things. Update podcast for 2 months, because the Montreal one, we didn't really show
any finished objects.
No.
Yes. So, So that's coming out on Thursday. So we really hope you'll watch that. And as I said, there's a lot of prizes. We had, I think, like 6.
But we had 2 months end for the socks.
2 months end. And then
we had the Smash That Stash.
We had 2 months end for that, because we did a March and an April, because we extended it. And then we had the cork raft. So there's a lot of stuff going out as soon as we find out. The mail will be busy. So I hope you enjoy that. So that's, I hear a cry. Somebody must have bonked their head again. So that's pretty much what I've been working on. I finished up the sweater, so I had that done in time for Sunday and blocked. And I wanted to cast a sweater on. I got some new things at Little Red Mitten, and I had a gift come in the mail, and I didn't get it cast on. I've just had really no knit time in the last couple of days, but I know you've been busy.
I did. I will show you what I made. So while I was at Little Red Mitten, Jolene had asked me if I would do a sample knit for the store. So here's the little flax. So this is a size 6 to 12 months. It's a sample for the store. It's done in, the navy is, and I might as well show this now because I'm taking it on Thursday, so I won't have it for the next podcast. So it's done in Cascade 220 Superwash Merino, which I have never used before. And it's actually really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then this yoke up here is just one yarn. So I think we talked about it. We had picked up yarn in Montreal, but this is also carried at Little Red Mitten. So this is the yarn therapist, and that is Jennifer Thiel. And what she does is this yarn is dyed specifically for the yoke of a sweater. So this is called Kelp Forest. This is 30 grams of yarn, 60 yards, because this is a worsted weight. And I used all but, honestly, that much was all that was left. Because Jolene said, use as much as you can of the yarn. So I thought, okay, so that was all that was left. And all that I had left of the navy was 2 grams. So it was 100 grams skein of the navy and used all but 2 grams. And then it was 30 grams up here in the yoke. So the premise behind this yarn is the way it's dyed. You can see if you look at this that the stripes are kind of all roughly the same size. Like, so it means that there's less yellow, then less. And then as you go down, there's more and more of the next color because the yoke gets bigger. Okay, well, I wish I would have realized that before I start knitting the sweater. And I was doing it to show off the yarn and the way the yarn worked. So I have actually knit this sweater twice. It got ripped out the first time. So
just out of curiosity, does it tell you that on the label? And then you just didn't read the label?
On the label.
Okay.
I didn't see it on the label. But when I went back in and looked at her photos and I went back in to look at one of the other ones, I think it was the shawl. I was looking at the shawl ball because she does it for shawls too. And it said start at this end because there's less. So then when you've got the little piece, and I thought, okay, I have to go back and fix it. Although realistically, the other one looked okay, I think. But here's a picture of the other one. So you can see that's how I had done it first. So you can see the yellow there down at the bottom. So you can see that it looks like there's not very much of it. And then that kind of grayish blue color up at the top, that stripe is a lot wider. So you can see I was down to the ribbing. I mean, I didn't have the sleeves done, but I was down to the ribbing and I ripped it all the way back to the neck and redid it. So
you started from the middle, right?
The second time.
The correct way is to pull from the middle, right?
Yeah.
Because I bought one of these when we were in Montreal. Mine is called All That Glitters. And this is in a DK weight. And this is going to be a yoke for Avena by Jennifer Steingass.
We finish each other's
sentences. Know you're knitty friends when you can finish one another's sentences about knitting, right? So anyway, that's what this is going to be. And I might have started from this end. So I'm glad you told me. And in fact, I'm making a note on the label right now. Pull from the middle.
Start at middle.
Because anyway, if I did the sweater wrong, I wouldn't have been happy.
So this is the flax, but the difference is, so this is the flax by Tin Can Knits, and it's the regular flax, not the flax light. And the only modification was I did not do the garter down the sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
So for anybody that's thinking of like a first sweater or an easy sweater to do, this is so easy. And you could actually do an adult size and use the yarn therapist yarn.
Yes.
And have that up in your yoke and then the body of your sweater.
Yeah, because she has them in all different sizes. They go all the way. Did you say this already? Sorry. Did you say all the way from newborn, which is 27 grams. And then it goes all the way up to a large to a 4XL, which is a 40-inch plus chest. So that's 300 yards. And she's got 1, 2, 3. There's like 8 size ranges in the midst of that. So
and it also comes in worsted weight and DK weight.
Yes. Yes.
So,
yeah. And yes, a few people are saying how cute Miles would look in that sweater. Oh, there's definitely a flax sweater in his future.
I love it. I'm definitely going to do more. And I mean, like it was so simple, and yet it looks like you've done all this work of making the yoke all these colors, and all you did was knit with one skein of yarn, and it just changed the colors like that. So yeah, I would definitely. I think it's a really nice baby gift.
Mm-hmm. And. And there, the thought just flew right out of my head. I was going to say you get great bang for your buck with the flax pattern because Tin Can Knits, the pattern goes all the way from, is it started not a newborn?
It starts 0 to 6 because that was the second size. So the first size is 0 to 6, and then the second size is 6 to 12 months.
It's that same pattern. They have the instructions all the way to an adult.
And it's free.
Yeah, and it's free.
It's a free pattern.
But that one's free, but other patterns are not free, but still the same premise.
Yeah. For all of Tin Can Knits, they have
yes.
a really wide size range.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. We talked last week about socks. Surprise, socks. And we talked about Shortie Socks specifically. And we said, or Noelle offered, that tonight we would come on and talk about some Shortie Socks that we've made. So I brought 5 pairs, different kinds, different styles, different techniques that I wanted to talk about. How many did you bring? Don't say 25.
No, I didn't bring 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, I think.
Okay, I'll let you start then.
Okay. Well, the first ones I showed last week, but I just thought in case these are the Midsummer Blossoms, and they are by Olivia of This Handmade Life. Okay, so I show and talk more about these in the podcast, so you'll see them there. But those are the latest ones that I just finished.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, me.
Yeah.
I was ready. I made notes too. So this pair is see that? So I just put a little braid down. It's not a braid. It's a little 3-stitch shell thing that I do. So these ones would be knit. The colorway is Knit Picks Felici in Firefighter. And I just did the 2x2 rib for 6 rows. And then carried down to an afterthought heel. And I do a rounded toe. I like a really round toe to cast off. But it's just a really pretty colorway.
You know what? I have never knit with Felici.
It's so soft. Like I can't imagine. You would love it. You would absolutely love it. You would love it.
So,
okay.
Okay. My next ones are, I had to write them down because I couldn't remember the name of all of them. These are Thunder and Lightning. So they've got a little bauble up here. And then the actual sock on Ravelry is actually done all in one color. So I just did, because this was like a little bit of garter stitch, I thought it would be nice to do it in a contrast color. These are a free pattern. So I just did the toe a different color. It's just got a heel flap and a gusset. My main yarn was old oak yarn. So it was a 75-25 sock yarn. And then I believe that the pink is Drop Yarn's Fable. So, and I do have 2 socks. So, but again,
I have 2 socks for all of these, but I'm only going to show one.
Okay, that's Thunder and Lightning by Dawn Henderson. And you know what? I will, after we're all done this, I will do a little short show note thing and put the name of all the socks and put it under the podcast.
Okay. Just
so that instead of putting all the names like along in here. So I will do a little thing under the podcast and put the name of all of them.
Okay. These ones I brought, which are the Voyage Socks by Lisa Ross.
Oh, and I like those ones.
Why I brought these, because they have a couple of interesting things. First, they have these really fun rolls here at the top. So it almost looks like it's 3 layers of socks, but it is indeed only 1. And then the other reason that I love them is because this is all mosaic. So if color work is new for you or you find it challenging, try something with mosaic, because you're only ever working with 1 color per row at a time. It's a super easy technique. It's really effective. And this is a fun pattern. And look at, like, this is so detailed. I love the way these turned out. These ones were using the Leo and Roxy basics. And I'm trying to think. I know the gray is classic gray.
Yep.
You know the colors, don't you?
Pebble.
Pebble is the taupey color.
Yep.
And
I think it's Pacific Point.
Okay. I was going to say marine, but you're right. It is Pacific Point. So, and very little yarn used in these. So, okay, that's those.
Okay. These are also, these are also done in Leo and Roxy Basics. These ones are the Midwinter Sock Set by Summer Lee. So this is a paid for pattern, but it actually comes with 3 patterns in one. So this one is a shorty sock, but then it's got two other pairs that are like a higher sock. So my contrasting heel, toe, and cuff on this is classic gray. And let's see if I can remember all the colors. Okay, it's Pacific Point, the same one that Kelly used is the navy, the pebble. What was the gold called?
Isn't it mustard?
Oh yeah, mustard, I think. And then cayenne? No. Something spice.
And then the purple, Cajun spice. Cajun
spice. And then the purple, I think, was majestic purple. The green is garden green, raspberry ripple, and the classic gray.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, it didn't take very much. Didn't take very much yarn of each color, but they're all of their classics you can buy in 20-gram mini skeins. So they're really good for using for heels, toes, or if you're doing something like this where you only need like a few grams of every color. So
Patricia's asking if we color work for socks in Magic Loop. And she said that her preferred knitting method is using socks on 9-inch circulars. I do my color work on 9-inch circulars too.
I do my color work socks on 9-inch circulars.
I like to do that.
If they're not color work, I don't, because I'm faster on either Magic Loop or 2/16 inches. But if it's color work, I do it on the 9-inch circ because you don't get any joins. You just get nice smooth around. So
Petra's asking if the shorty socks stay up. Well, they do. Mine
I haven't had
anyway.
A problem. Yep,
I've never had a problem
with any of them.
No. And I like to wear them not just in shoes, but I wear a lot of like lower boots, like Blundstones and just short suede boots and stuff. And that's what I like them for. And they never slip off my heel. You just have to make certain that I find that they get far enough up the, like far enough here up the instep. And that is what holds them on for me. Okay. All right. All right. Carry on. Okay. You get another pair?
Yep. Okay. So these ones were probably one of the first pairs I ever made. So these ones are the Magician's Shorty Sock by Cheryl Ham. And again, this was a free pattern. So it's got a little bit of a lace pattern in here. And this was yarn. It's kind of fading out now, but this is yarn that I actually dyed using food coloring. So I just did some speckles on this part and then just dyed the little green. But anyway, yeah, these seemed like, for some reason, this stitch seemed like it took me a long time. I don't know whether it was I had just started knitting shorties and I thought they should go a lot faster. I don't know, but they seemed like they took a long time.
I did a short pair in lace using Knit Picks yarn one time. It was one of the first short pairs that I made. Still wear them all the time. And it was a full lace top. And I thought it took a long time too. But yeah,
I'm just going to take a bite out of this sock in case anybody.
Are you feeling packaged?
I'm just feeling a little packaged.
You feeling packaged?
And this one, I've only got like a few rows of the rib here, but then I've got a little bit of the pattern all around before I started the heel. So I think when you do that, it gives you a little more to hold it up around your ankle.
Absolutely. So. Okay, so there was another question in here too before I show the next one about the rounded toe that I use. It's not actually from a pattern. It's more just of a recipe that I've picked up over the years. So the way that I do it is I do a decrease on either side, right? So I knit one stitch, then I do my decrease, and then I decrease on the other side. So this is either if I'm on a 9 or sorry, at this point, you're going to switch to 2 needles anyway to do your toe, right? So I do a decrease on either side, and then I knit 3 rows, and then I do a decrease row, then I knit 2 rows, I do a decrease row, I knit 1 row regular, and then after that, I decrease every row until I'm down to 12 stitches. And that's how I get my rounded toe.
Okay, and mine is very much the same, except for I do the decrease, then 3 rows, then I do a decrease 2 rows, a decrease 2 rows twice. And then I do a decrease 1 row 3 times. And then I decrease every row to the end. Yeah. So so my toe might be a little bit longer, right? Where the shaping starts to I forget. I think that might have been in that Vanilla Chai pattern.
Okay. Julia is offering up the Bakery Bears too. She says that they have a really good rounded toe in their vanilla cream sock.
Yeah, I think they might have one of those like tomato toe. Is that what it's called? Or star toe? I know some of her patterns have that. And I do like
Isn't
that.
It umbrella toe?
Or umbrella. I think different people call it different things. It's like your decreases are more spread out around the sock. So.
Okay, 1 second. I need to find something in here.
Okay.
We need confetti. Where's confetti?
Oh, there's the granddaughter picture.
Yay! Nona just got pictures of her brand new granddaughter.
Yep.
Way to ruin that moment, Kelly. Sorry, but congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. Socks. These ones. These I cast on the day that we did the oh gosh, give it up, Kelly. Fiber Hustle Pride Bingo.
Yeah.
And so these had a lot of pride colors in them, and I thought they were really appropriate. This is the Felici again, and the colorway is Sally. And so the way I did these, this is a Turkish cast on for the toe. And then I just put there's a fat cable on either side. This is a Flegel heel. So as you're knitting, you are putting in a gusset here, and you're just making this wider and wider and wider, but it didn't really affect my stripe width very much. So I was pretty pleased with that. So then this orange stripe is where you have the most stitches on your needle. And then you just do short rows with this solid purple. So this was a separate color. Like this is a color, this is a color, and this is a color. Everything else was just basically out of the Felici. But so this is a Flegel heel. This is a really good fit for me with a high instep. I think I love the way this sock fits. Looks pretty cool from, well, when it's not on a blocker. Here we go. It looks pretty cool from the back too, because you kind of get this. You get a wedge at the back, right? But it's a really good fitting sock. So if that's something that you haven't tried, I encourage you to try a pattern that has that. Okay, next.
Well, I just happen to have a pattern that has that.
There you go.
So this sock pattern is called Grello Love. It's by Claire Devine. And again, it's the Flegel heel. So you can kind of see here's like where I guess you did increases, right? To fill in for your instep. And again, if I turn it back, there's the
little wedge heel.
The wedge heel that I did in a different color. So, and as far as the amount of yarn, like to knit a pair of these, like this yarn here is the Regia Arne & Carlos. I can't remember the name of the colorway, but I did these socks and a regular pair of like socks with probably a 6 or 7 inch leg out of 100 gram ball. Right. And then I think I had like a 25 gram little mini to do the heels, toes, and cuffs. So yeah, and I do really like how this heel fits. The only problem that I had with doing these, because again, it starts toe up with the Turkish cast on, was figuring out where to start these increases, because it's a little bit different shape than when you're doing like a heel flap and gusset when you're doing it top down. So you kind of have to figure out, like, this is probably starts more, to me, it seems like it's a little bit of a longer gusset.
It is. It definitely is. And it's a more gradual slope too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of so I think the first pair of these that I did ended up too big for me, but luckily I have a daughter with bigger feet than me, so she got them. And then from the first time I was able to adjust and figure out where to start that shaping for my foot.
And if anybody is working on or hasn't got to that point yet in the DRK everyday socks, she uses a Flegel heel in that as well. But it's a clever use of all of that ribbing and how the ribbing ties into the heel. So yeah, okay. So then this next pair, these are really old, so they're a little faded, but I really like them, and they have another technique, so I grabbed them out. These are actually just these are jelly rolls by Mara Catherine Briner. So they're a pretty basic, solid. I did contrast heels and toes, but they have these rolls at the top. So you knit a roll, like a certain amount of stitches, and then you actually cast on. You just grab those 2 rows together, and then you knit another roll. So I like them. And then it has a more traditional heel flap and gusset. And she has you what's the word? Corrugating the back flap. So they're fun. They're just, I mean, they're quite a bit plainer than some of, they look like a solid. I used hazel nets for these. I don't remember the colorway. As I said, these ones are really old, but just fun. A lot of fun.
Okay, so Mary wanted to know if I have any project notes in any of my Ravelry projects that tell you about where to start the heel. No, because I just tried them on. Like I knew from the first pair that I had to start sooner. So I think I just went by that. I should have probably wrote it down, but now I just go back and measure the ones that I've got that I like the fit of and know that I had to start the increases there.
Well, what we could do, I don't remember how many stitches I cast on.
I'm sure I probably did 64 because I usually always do a 64.
I either do 60 or 64, and I feel like this is probably a 64 because these ones feel a little bit wider. But I could measure, I guess, the distance from here to the heel on a 64
right. Because that's what you have to know, right?
If one had a measuring device. Yeah. Isn't that terrible? I keep saying this every single time.
Well, I do, but it's over on the other part of the room.
Yeah, I might have one in here, maybe. Oh, I do. I have one. Because I think what it says is like you can keep adding these stitches, but you want this to get to that part of your foot, like just like it's sitting on the sock blocker. You want this to be right at that point, like that crease in your foot, right? So the distance of from where I started adding stitches to where I'm doing the short row heel is 2 3/4 inches. So, and I don't know how many stitches I got up to at here either. I'd have to go back. I probably have notes in my Ravelry page. Okay. Did you have another pair?
Okay, I do.
Okay.
So these are actually, I test knit these, but I don't think the pattern ever came out. But I just want to show these because when I was doing the test knit, I wanted to follow the pattern directions exactly, right? So I knit these back when I still used double pointed needles to do socks. So the pattern said to cast onto 4 double pointed needles and then knit with the 5th. I never, ever did that. I always only ever cast on the stitches on 3 needles and then knit with the 4th one. Okay, so the first sock, I said, nope, I'm going to do what they told me. Well, I found it so awkward, but I did it. And then when I got to the second side, I thought, okay, I'm going back to my 3 needles and doing it that way. Look at the difference in the size. And this is not a different size needle. The only difference is using 4 needles as opposed to 3 needles to have your stitches on. So like it just goes to show you, and you can even see like the length is different. I still wear them because like no one's measuring my feet close to, and I wasn't going to pull it out, but like there's a difference in width. There's a difference. Like I could not believe there could be that much difference just by using 4 needles as opposed to 3 needles. So, I mean, when you see that, you can understand why, if you're doing a project, why a lot of people knitting in the round, their tension is different than knitting back and forth. Or if you switched from a metal needle to a wood needle, right? It doesn't take a whole lot to change your gauge. So it is a good idea every time you do a project, if you start on one set of needles, that you should finish it on the same set of needles. Because I know when I borrowed Kelly's socks, I do have 2.25 millimeter needles, but mine are a little bit different shape than yours. And I thought, nope, I'm not. I've done that once and this happened. I'm not taking a chance. I'm doing them on the same needles. So that was those ones.
Lauren wants to know which sock was the tighter one for you.
The tighter one was my regular, and it was what worked out was the one on the 3 needles, the way I normally did it, and it worked out to my regular tension. The other one on the 4 turned out bigger. So,
okay. All right. So the last pair that I brought down, just because these are one of my favorites. These are the Shortie. No. Little box of socks. They are short. They are short, but they could be long. You could keep knitting on these. There's no reason
any
that
of them you could keep on knitting.
Any of them you could keep knitting, but these ones are by Summer Lee Designs, and I love this pattern. It's such a simple pattern, and it's so. Oh, don't mind my long hair. It's so effective. It's so effective. So this one I use 3 colors. This is the Knit Picks. Okay, full disclosure, I have an entire tote box of Knit Picks stroll yarn. I have every color pretty much that they have. And the reason I have them are exactly for heels and toes, because you can always find a color to go with everything else that you want. And then this color, the variegated color, is by Black Cat Yarns, and it's called Demon Hunter. And I bought it at Knit City, Vancouver, for a pair of socks for Kendall. She picked out the color. I loved it. So I have used this down. It is done. I made a short pair of socks for myself, a long pair for Kendall, and I still had a tiny little tidbit, and it went in here and got used up. And then the gray is Leo and Roxy Classic Gray. So I just wanted to tell you how frugal the pattern is. So in the variegated color, I used 25 grams. In the Stroll Pea Pod, 17 grams, and in the Leo and Roxy Classic Gray, only 13 grams. Yeah. So this is a way to like dig into, like, you see this back here, I have this little glass jar of tiny tidbits of yarn. You can make these socks out of those little tidbits, but it's such a fun pattern. And it is so simple, but I just couldn't put it down because I kept wanting to see more boxes. It's fun. It's fun.
Okay, Becky had asked what pattern it was that I thought had the rounded toe. I think it's Vanilla Chai, but I'm not positive. I will check on that and put something down underneath the podcast after it uploads for good when it's not live. So, and then someone wanted to see the inside of your little boxes, Kelly.
Oh, I don't know if I want to show you the inside of my boxes, but I do. Of course I do. They're fun. They're really fun. I hope I woke my ends in. Sometimes I don't. Look at that. They're just as pretty inside. So it does make a nice thick sock too. But all of those, the fingerings that I use light fingerings, just so it wouldn't be too dense of a sock.
Yeah. And the Leo and Roxy, their basics line is really good for that.
It's very similar. If you haven't tried Leo and Roxy Basics, but you've tried the Knit Picks, they feel to me almost like the same yarn. Really easy and fun to work with. So, yeah. Okay. Did you have anything else? You got another pair? Of course you do.
So these are the Nasturtium socks by Kristen Kapoor. This is a free pattern, and it's Regia, and it's a sock. Cotton sock yarn. So these ones are really nice for the summer. And it was a really kind of neat modified sort of, it's not feather and fan. I don't know. It's just kind of a neat pattern because it makes the pattern go diagonal sort of. Anyway, and it's heel flap and gusset. I think the cotton sock yarn, you don't get quite as much yardage as you do with the regular because the cotton's a little bit heavier, but I did get 2 pairs of shorties out of it. So I gave a pair to my mom and then I kept a pair for me. So, and I do really like wearing those in the summer. Okay. Do you have any more?
No, I'm out. I tapped out.
Okay. I've got these ones. Again, this is a yarn that's got a little bit of cotton in it. And this pattern is, let me just find it here. The Feel Good Socks by Kate Atherley. And again, this is a free pattern. So it's kind of got the turned down lacy cuff. So they're kind of cute when you've got them on with a pair of sneakers and you just get the little bit of the cuff at the top.
I like those.
And then my last one. So this is probably maybe, I don't know, the second pair of Shortie socks that I ever made. So, and I love them. This yarn is Prism yarn. It feels amazing. I don't even know if you can get Prism yarn anymore. And I was afraid doing what is it? It's not Bay City Rollers. What is it? Rose City Rollers.
Rose City Rollers.
Bay City Rollers. Rose City Rollers. But I was worried that the roll wouldn't stay up. So I did a ribbed cuff instead. And I have since done ones with the roll and they were fine. But I didn't know that at the time. So I just did the ribbed cuff. So like these socks are, believe me, are well worn. And these are the ones that I told you. I don't know what I did, but somehow or other, I got a hole in the top of this one. And I mean,
did the mindful mending. Yes.
There. you can see it, but I don't care. I took care of the hole. And I mean, if I've got shoes on, you can't see that anyway.
See it.
But I love the feel of this sock and I love it on. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna take a little bit of yarn, and I just kind of did duplicate stitch all around and it was just a yarn that I had sitting there that I was working on another sock. So it doesn't match, but I mean, my sock, they're fine now. I can wear them again.
Good.
So, and that is it.
Okay. Anita had a question on colorwork socks. She said she's had 2 failed attempts. The sock was too tight to get on. So I have a couple of suggestions for you. Some patterns recommend going up a needle size. So in this case, like it might mean going from a 2.5 up to a 2.75 to do your color work. Something else that you can do is to actually knit the sock inside out. I don't particularly have issues with that. I'm able, like these fit on me just fine. No problem. And I didn't adjust a needle size at all. But if you knit from the inside out, what I want to show you what this might look like. And I do have a tutorial for it too on my Tangled Stitch channel, specifically for doing thumbs on colorwork mittens. But all you're doing is the sock is inside out, but you're still knitting. I don't know how to show this on camera, but if your needle were in here, you're still knitting in here. Okay. That's not even on camera. There we go. You're still knitting this way, but what you're doing is carrying the yarn on the outside of your project instead of carrying the yarn on the inside of your project. And just by having it travel to the outside of the project, that gives you a little bit more leeway and a little bit more comfort. So you might want to try that. I think that works for a lot of people. And this is, for any time that you're doing some smaller circumference color work. Some people even do their sleeves that way. If they have color work on a sleeve, they knit them inside out. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. Just don't give up. Try again.
Well, and I think if you haven't tried on a 9-inch circular, because I think sometimes that makes it easier too, because I think if you're doing it either on double points or magic loop, when you have to pull your stitches around, I think you tend to pull that yarn tighter before you start the next part that's on the next needle. So if you're just doing it on a 9-inch circ, it's all in one direction. So you're never really having to pull that yarn to come around. Mm-hmm. And some patterns do actually increase the number of stitches when you get to the color work. So you have to look at whatever it is in the pattern. If the pattern doesn't do that, then you might, and you find that it's quite tight, you might want to go up at 1, maybe 2 needle sizes. Like I know in a lot of Natalie's patterns, she recommends going from like a 2.25 up to a 2.75.
Yes. Yeah. And then one other suggestion I have is try a mosaic sock, because you'll have the effect of color work, but you haven't had to carry your yarn. Therefore, you have likely avoided any tension issues whatsoever. So this could be a real confidence builder if you're looking to try something with color work. Try a mosaic
or do
pattern.
Something that just has a little bit of color work like around the top of the sock, and then leave your foot plain, because that way, or you could even just put a little at the bottom of the toe. Like I think sometimes where you might have trouble getting it on is if you've got that color work that's right kind of around your ankle, then it makes it a little bit harder to pull the sock on. But that's a good way to start, is just have a little bit of color work somewhere in the sock before you go on to doing a whole all over color work sock.
Okay. But don't give up.
Don't give up.
Keep trying. Keep trying.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
So.
Okay. We have another question. Melissa is knitting her first half and half triangles wrap using Holst on our recommendations. And she's having trouble with the end of the cake tangling with the other end. Is there something I'm doing wrong? Are you talking about the little cakes?
The cake or the cones?
Yeah. This is a cake. Is that what you're talking about? And are you pulling from the inside or the outside? I generally, if I'm working with a cake, I always work from the outside, and I make sure, like if it's something that I have wound myself, I make sure that middle piece is tucked in out of the way. And then I work from the outside of the cake. So I'm not sure if I've read the question the right way or if that's helpful.
And if I'm knitting with 2 colors, usually I'm sitting on the couch and I'll have one color on one side and one color on the other.
I do that too.
And then when I get to the end of the row, if there is anywhere where they've kind of tangled, I untangle them before I start the next row. And then you don't end up with a whole mess at the end of 2 or 3 rows where it's kind of, and I think the thing is with the woolly yarn, especially if you're using super soft, because it is a sticky yarn, it will tend to like catch on itself. And so, but I think like yarn management for a lot of people, you kind of have to try it and see what works best for you. So
she said it was the cake, not the cone. She can't keep the end out of the way. She just pulled. Oh, she pulled from the center to start. Okay. Well, the other thing, if I am working sometimes this way, here's another trick that I have. So I'll unwind this a little bit so you can see. Because the odd time, sometimes if it's a thicker yarn, I work from the middle. I didn't hear, but what I always make sure, I have this extra loop here. I don't know how that happened. Okay, we'll just ignore this extra loop. But what I do when I finish winding my yarn, I always make sure that I take this and I go right around the outside of the ball a few times like that. And then I just tuck, whoops, not on camera. I tuck that right inside so that it can't escape. Okay. And then everything is tight here on the outside. And then you would be free to pull from the middle and I've got no ends fluffing around.
I think on the with the Holst cakes, because the yarn is so fine, like once you've kind of used up all that middle, because it's not yarn that kind of like is springy that goes back onto itself. So you kind of get that really loose. But what a lot of people do with cakes in particular, if they are working from the inside, is put them inside like an old sock.
Also, right? And there's like ball cozies.
You can buy like yarn koozies or whatever. So, but if you don't have that, you could just use like like the bottom of it, cut the bottom of an old sock, and you can put the cake right in there, and it'll kind of keep the cake compressed, and you can pull out the yarn that you're using.
And Mary's suggesting that too. She said you can stick the cake in a sock or nylon anklet. You could knit a sock for your cake. How about that? You could crochet one pretty quickly. It would. I think you can.
I do think you can. Like, I do think that some makers do make like little ball
nylon stretchy ones. Yeah.
So, okay, Alexa's got to go. Bye, Alexa.
Hey, Alexa. Okay.
And then Beth was saying nitty natty. Nitty natty makes cute little coats. Okay, for center pull balls. There you go.
Mary was talking about this the other day and she just mentioned it again tonight. So I'm going to go back to it and I can't remember. So she might have to type in what her explanation was, but where did her comment go? You wind it once and then wind it the other. Oh gosh. How did I just lose your comment, Mary? Oh, there it is. If you wind your own cake from a cone and then you rewind it again from the center out the second time, Mary says that will avoid. I don't know what the rationale is behind that, but I saw that you had posted something about that and I read it and I just forget what your answer is. I'm sure you'll type that in and we can share that too.
Okay. And Mark says that she's using Coast and she keeps the ball band around it, doesn't take the ball band off, and it seems to be okay. So again, I think it's sort of trial and error for whatever works best for you.
Yeah. Especially for me, any type of a yarn that doesn't have like a real spring or a memory to it, I always make sure that I'm going from the outside of that cake because I know that it just won't support that outside, the center, once you start to pull out of it.
But I did that with a little flax sweater and I had to reknit the whole sweater.
That's right. You did. You did.
Sometimes it matters whether you start from the outside or the inside.
I know. Any other suggestions of sweaters using the same type of gauge as the Love Note or the Ranunculus? Ilha is thinner. It looks like that. It reminds me of the Ranunculus.
What was the new one? What was the new one by Casapinka?
Yes,
Don't
that
panic,
one.
Or No Need to Panic or something like
that.
No
Need to Panic sweater on my list to do. I think Linda's doing that one too. So that would be one. And it looks like a great pattern.
Cozy Classic Raglan was 18 stitches. And I think Love Note is 16. And I think Ranunculus is 14. I think.
But those are also only suggestions.
That's right. That's right.
How you choose to interpret the pattern using needles up, needles down, changing the yarn of the weight. That's all good too. All good. Mary says it has to do with the twist. So it keeps it from winding too tight in one direction. There we go. I knew there was a really good reason behind it. Okay. What else did we have? Oh, we had lots of people chiming in. It was about the twist. It's all in the twist. Right?
So, you know what? I used to always go from the inside, and then I kept having to like take it and go back to my ball winder and wind up the rest of it because it was too messy. And I thought, well, why am I doing that? I might as well just pull from the outside. So, and then when you do that too, sometimes like I never get to go to bed because I pull out too much and I have to knit it before I go to bed. I can't stand the yarn being messy, so I have to knit it up.
Mary is saying that she wanted to let us know that she I can't read and talk tonight. She washed her first Holst sweater and she loves it. She's in love.
Oh, good.
I knew you would. Good. I knew you would. Good. This is a Holst sweater. We didn't even talk about our sweaters tonight.
No.
Oh, mine's vest. Mine's vest.
Mine's Holst too.
Yeah, yours is Holst. This is using Holst Super Soft in oatmeal and drops alpaca. Don't know the color, beige mix, sand mix, something or other. This is the always vest, and all of the detail is on the side. I'm kind of hiding all the beauty of the vest. So there's little detail. It's a pretty short vest too. So I wear it with a longer shirt or a longer dress. I like this extra little bit of garter detail at the ribbing. I did make some modifications. I went in a few more decreases here. I wanted it to fit a little closer to my shoulder line. If I were making it again, I would probably even go in a couple of stitches more just so that I could get this sort of right up onto the shoulder. But I could not love this more. I've worn it a ton, especially since we've had such a cold and crappy spring. Yeah. This has been perfect. And I love to throw this on inside of a denim jacket because there's no extra bulk in the arms. You just get the warmth across your chest and your back. And the pattern is by Anna Daku. And yours?
Okay. Mine is the Yal cardigan by Marie Wallen. And I'll just stand up, even though you probably still can't see me. I have to kneel on the seat.
I had to laugh. I posted a picture, Noelle, of on my story this weekend of us podcasting or getting ready. And somebody noticed in the background your booster cushion on your chair.
Oh, my chair. Okay. So this is the Yal cardigan.
Don't fall.
And I won't. And it's by Marie Wallen. And this is all the colors are Holst Garden Super Soft. And it feels amazing. Like I couldn't, like I just have a short sleeve t-shirt on and it feels fine on my arms. It definitely softens up after you wash it. And there's the inside is, I did a facing to kind of cover the steek because the cardigan was all steeked. And even though this is like double layer all over the whole cardigan, it is not super heavy. Like it hardly weighs anything. I can't remember what my grams were on it, but the whole 50-gram cake is like 273 yards or something. So it's really light yarn. So even if you're doing an all over color work garment with it, you don't end up with a really heavy product at the end of it. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it's fun to knit. I'm doing another sweater with Holst right now. Two actually, one in Coast and one in Super Soft. So, and they won't be the last, that's for sure. Well, they better not be because I have lots of the yarn.
We have a lot of cones. But so I love the yarn. I just love it.
Yeah. And it comes in so many different beautiful colors.
And they're nice heathered colors. We keep talking about that. They're really heathered, beautiful colors.
Yep. It's nice by itself. It's nice held in combination with other yarns. It's nice held with mohairs. It's nice held with the Holst also has their Titicaca, which is 100% alpaca, baby alpaca, right? You've used it. Yeah. You use it in your ranunculus. Well, I'm pretty sure it's 100%. It's 100% baby alpaca. I'm pretty sure, and it's So soft. It's so soft. And it's a lace weight. So I think there's like 450, maybe not 450, maybe 400. I don't know. A lot of meters in a 50-gram cake. And you can kind of use it if you don't like mohair or you can't wear mohair, you could actually use it in place of mohair.
Yeah.
So
Sarah, you're outing us. She said that she met us at the Mitten this past weekend on little local yarn store day.
And did she say I was taller than she expected?
No, she did not say that you were taller than she expected, but she said that we were standing right at the Holst at the Holst. I think you're right. Holst should be paying us a sponsorship. We do talk about it a lot, don't we? It's just really versatile yarn. I feel like every pattern could be converted to a Holst pattern.
I can't believe that Sarah didn't think I look taller than I do. I always think I look taller until I see a mirror or a picture, and then I go, "Oh."
Sarah is quite a bit taller than I thought Sarah would be.
Sarah is quite tall.
If you were to get a picture taken with Sarah, we'd have to stand you on a step stool.
Well.
We're a big enough difference, but Sarah is quite a bit taller than me too.
Well, I didn't even realize that we were that big of a difference until I saw the picture from Montreal.
The one you look like a little elf.
Oh well.
Okay.
Anyways, we should probably talk about.
Yeah, I just looked up in the corner at the time. We're rambling now.
Yeah, let's just not talk about how tall I am anymore. Let's talk about our knit-alongs.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay, so first of all, we have our sock knit-along going on all year. We're doing really well, like for getting our 2022 pairs of socks.
We're on track.
2022, we are on track.
Well, and all of you are on track.
Yes, because ours don't count.
Ours don't count.
But anyway, so we're on track for that. So get your socks in there. Any socks that you enter, we go right back to the beginning of the year and draw from the number of socks that are in there until the end of whatever particular month we're drawing. So, and every month we have a pattern prize donated by Natalie from Remembrances Pottery, and we have a sock prize. So
yarn prize.
A yarn prize. Yeah, not a sock
Don't
prize.
give away
Yeah,
socks.
we're not knitting socks.
Okay, and if you want so you can join us on Ravelry. Noelle showed you earlier tonight how to get the pictures into Ravelry, and if you would like to post them on Instagram and tag us, this is the hashtag down below, and we would love to see them in there. We're checking on that hashtag regularly. Wow.
Sarah just said it was okay. She was used to small people in her day-to-day.
I think she teaches kindergarten. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. I'm just being cheeky now. Okay.
Okay, but I got to tell this quick story. Okay, so like talking about being short and talking about Sarah teaching kindergarten. When we first moved, we moved from Montreal to the Sarnia area. We lived in Courtwright when I was in grade 4. And I was a year younger because I started in Ireland and the age was different. So I started in grade 4. And after 2 weeks, the principal called my dad and said that he wanted to put me back to grade 3. And my dad goes, well, why? Why do you want to put her back to grade 3? And the principal said, well, she doesn't know the 12 times tables. The rest of the class didn't know them either, but he didn't tell him that. And I didn't know how to do long division. My dad goes, I'll teach her that. And then the principal just looked at him and he said, well, you should see the size of her compared to everybody else. So my dad just looked at him and said, well, why don't you put her in kindergarten then? They didn't put me back. I had to learn the 12 times tables that night.
Couldn't go to bed until you did, right?
That is exactly right. I couldn't. And I had to learn long division that night too. But I didn't have to go back to kindergarten.
Okay. And then we can talk about the new one. You'll see it in the podcast in a couple of days, but we can tell you what it's all about. You go ahead and talk, and I'm going to pull up the banner.
Okay. So
you. Yeah, you.
Okay. I forget. What are we calling it? Spark Joy.
Spark Joy.
ANP Spark Joy. I'm just so full of joy now I forgot. Anyways, you can knit whatever you want that brings you joy.
Yes. As long as
you have our permission that if you need to buy new yarn to do that project and it brings you joy, you can go.
We're okay with that.
We are okay with that. We're not We're not saying that everybody else in your life will be okay with it, but we are okay with it. So if you need to get more yarn to do it, go ahead and do it. But it has to be something that you really want to work on. It does not have to be for yourself. If you really want to make something for someone else and that brings you joy, you can do that. If you really want it to be for yourself, it can be for yourself. Mm-hmm. So the only stipulations were that
May 1st to June 30th.
May 1st start. No whips. No whips, because we want you to really think about what is really going to bring me joy. And that means if you want to knit from your stash and that brings you joy, you can do that too.
But it also can be any making craft. So if it's doing something else with fiber that brings you joy, that's okay too. And a 50 gram minimum.
Yeah.
And while you're working on this, I really want you to be consciously thinking of the fact that you're setting aside, even if it's just a little bit of time every day, to consciously work on this thing that is sparking this joy in you. All of this came about because I had a tough week, and without knowing it, Noelle waltzed in to see me at work to bring me something, and the little bluebird of happiness landed in my lap. Look at this adorable little bluebird that she brought me, and it brought me to tears. So happy tears. And so it's just a little reminder. So this is the little mascot for the Spark Joy Make Along, the little bluebird of happiness. Find something every day that brings you a little bit of happiness and sparks joy in you. And hopefully it's something fibery good. That's coming up on the podcast in a couple of days, but that's a sneak peek. So dive in, because it started already on May 1st.
Yes. So if you started it on May 1st, then it's eligible. But Jolene said, what if finishing sparks joy?
Well, then finish it quickly before June 30th and spark that joy. So I've got the hashtag down below if you want to start adding some items to join in along as well on Instagram. This is the hashtag for our Spark Joy.
Okay, you know what? As far as the finishing, as long as you still put 50 grams or more into it,
yes,
then a finish counts. But not something that you just have to cast off or sew together, but if you still have to put another 50 grams or more into it, and that brings you joy.
Oh, what if not finishing, she says, sparks joy, not finishing it.
Okay, come on, Jolene. Then she has to put it in her cal, because her cal, they were going to have the finish it, frog it, forget it.
Yes. So you can jump out of ours and you can jump right into
right.
Little Red Mitten. Okay.
That's right. So check out Little Red Mitten. They're going to have a finish it, frog it. I can't remember all the apps, but there were a lot of them.
Okay. We're running overtime now.
Okay.
And we're getting silly. I
know.
I think I had grandbaby brain because I was all a muddle. And we talked about a lot of knitting tonight. Holy moly. We talked about a lot of knitting. So
I'm exhausted, and I always get really chatty when I'm exhausted.
No, really?
Like in a hotel room at midnight.
Yes, or later. Oh, finish or Frog Fridays, Beth has. That's a good one too. That's a good one. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for everybody. I feel like saying thanks for putting up with us tonight.
No, I think we started out okay. We had some silly bits in the middle, maybe, and a little bit at the end. But other than that, I think we kind of we stayed pretty much on track tonight. I think we did. Wow. We did what we set out to do. So, So thanks so much for coming by the KnitChat Cafe. We love to see everybody every week. Those of you who are coming back every week, fantastic. We enjoy your visits, and we have new people joining every week. We're going to need a bigger KnitChat Cafe. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun. Anyway, having a super amount of fun. So we'll be here next Tuesday.
Okay. We will be.
Same place. Same place.
Yeah. Okay, take care, everybody, and we hope everybody has a wonderful week, and do something that sparks joy.
Spark joy. Take care.
Okay, bye.